What's up, Squad? It's your Squid, aka the Anxious Squid. You know why we're here. Let's just get into it.
Episodes of The Simpsons have aired since... Can you guess how many episodes of The Simpsons have aired since the last time an American won a Formula One race? All of them.
All of them? Yeah, I was going to say, has an American ever won one?
In that time, the Berlin Wall has fallen down. J.K. Rowling wrote all 7 Harry Potter books.
Okay.
And the UK and Germany won a combined 22 F1 Drivers' World Championships.
Wow.
F1 itself grew to become one of the most popular sports in the world. But there's one nation of motorsport lovers that F1 has consistently struggled to win.
Okay, so this video is called Why America Doesn't Watch Formula One. This is good content creator. Go and check him out, give him a like, give him a sub, all that sort of stuff. If you want to watch this video without my reaction, without me pausing a whole bunch of times, all that sort of jazz, feel free to do so. The link is right at the bottom of the description after the stuff that makes me money. Alright, sweet, let's get back into it.
The US.
My theory...
Obviously,
My theory is why Americans don't watch Formula One. Well, there was that fucking clusterfuck at the, you know, the one I'm talking about. I've done a reaction to it already, the worst F1 race ever. And there were, like, there's NASCAR here, there's IndyCar, there's a lot. You're spoiled for options when it comes to motor racing. And I'm not sure if that's the same elsewhere. I mean, there's the Isle of Man and there's Goodwood and there's all that sort of stuff in Britain and whatnot. I'm doing a reaction to Goodwood next, don't worry. But yeah, I don't know, like, it seems to me on face value that America has more options motorsport-wise than most places in the world, and so they're spread a bit thin. But we'll see what the video says.
Wants to change that, and has made it their aim to conquer the US. But how does a sport with minimal links to America compete with the likes of IndyCar, NASCAR, and baseball? Welcome to Athletic Interest. In this video, we learn how Formula One is planning to take over America and whether the key to success lies in rediscovering an American F1 driver.
There's a Canadian guy, isn't there, at the minute as well?
Media, the American media company which purchased F1 in 2017, has been on a relentless push to make it pop.
I didn't realise that was the case. So the F1 is an American-owned company now. That's interesting. Like, I mean, they're probably publicly traded, but you know what I mean. Like, that's interesting, because I learnt in my, like, F1 for Dummies video, which, again, check out in my motorsport playlist if you haven't watched this. If this is the first time you've come across me, hit subscribe, hit like, all that YouTube, like, fucking jargon. Like, I knew Liberty with the marionette people at the top, like pulling the marionette strings and all that sort of stuff, but I didn't realise they were Yanks. That's interesting.
In the US. In the words of their CEO, our strategy in the future will be to be more present in the US. It's a work in progress, but I can guarantee to you there is now big interest in the USA with Formula One.
Okay, interesting.
F1 is certainly a lot more popular than it used to be, but there were times when most Americans thought Formula One was a special brand of baby food. Liberty Media's strategy for winning over the American audience can be condensed into one simple phrase. The more you know, the more you enjoy.
Yeah.
Formula One understands that as viewers consume the races, they are constantly developing the knowledge of the sport. The deeper we invest ourselves,
the more we watch, the more we'll know. Yeah.
The greater levels of enjoyment we receive.
You could say that about my reaction videos as well.
If you have no knowledge of Formula One, you might switch off after a few minutes of watching someone drive around in an oversized can of Red Bull. Shut up! If you are already aware of how tire strategies, weather conditions, and inter-driver rivalries can dramatically alter the outcome of the race, you might stick around and see what happens.
I've missed my wife's birthday because of the F1. Wow.
Educate Americans about the sport and trigger their desire to consume the races. Liberty Media transformed Formula One into the fastest growing sport on social media.
Wow.
Post-race analysis, interviews,
I mean, I'm probably contributing to that with the reaction videos. Now I come to think of it, you know what I mean? Like, YouTube's a social media. Have a look at this graph. So, I got a good pause, good in time. So, UFC's booming. That's cool. They blocked my videos, though, so I can't do UFC reactions. What's that thing next to UFC? Series A. I don't know what that is. Or La Liga. Is that soccer? Is that soccer? Like, I mean, football for my European fans and stuff. Fans, that sounded pretentious, didn't it? For my European subscribers and stuff like that. Is La Liga soccer? I'm not sure. Or football, PGA Tour is golf. Don't get me wrong. I love sport, like, I love sport. Check out all my different playlists and stuff, but, like, I can just, never in my life have I been able to get into golf, you know what I mean? Like, it's a beautiful, manicured lawn, absolutely amazing, gorgeous walks most of the time, ruined by a tiny little white ball. And it's weird, you know, like I just don't understand it. Like, I mean, I do. I understand it. Get the tiny ball in the tiny hole all the way over there within a certain amount of shots. Like, it's a fucking simple sport. Like, I understand it. I just don't understand why people like it when there's, you know, football or motor racing. But anyway, WWE growing by 6%. I'm sure that logo is there just as pro wrestling, not as WWE, because you've got like Ring of Honor and AEW and all that sort of stuff that are popping. NBA, MLS, what's PL? Premier League Soccer, yeah. NFL is down 10%. That's interesting because I've had arguments with people online at the moment. If you're looking at TV ratings, which you're not, this is across social media, so they're down 10% across social media. Their streaming rates have boomed and are going up. They just signed like a fucking $100 billion deal or something for streaming and stuff. So that's interesting. There's lots of different soccer options on here as well. NHL has lost 26% and MLB's lost 32%. That's interesting, isn't it? Anyway, we'll get on with the video.
Through post-race analysis, interviews, highlights, and technical breakdowns, F1 is providing millions of potential fans with
Americans need a heel as well. They need someone to dislike.
They could possibly want to know. If you are someone who loves watching,
I've found it myself, and I promise I'll stop pausing so much in a second. I've found myself, you know, there is a contingent of America, and I'm wary of, obviously, you know, like Americans aren't a monolith. No two Americans are the exact same. But like, and so I'm wary of, like, you know, stereotyping all Americans and stuff. But so now that I've said that, know that I'm not. It's interesting to me. In America, there seems to be a larger percentage of people who like identify themselves by things they don't like as opposed to things they do like. So like, for example, you know, you might have a friendship with someone based around how much you guys both hate Justin Bieber, or based around the fact that you both really detest, I don't know, fucking Supernatural or something, you know what I mean? Like, you hate watch it and then bitch about it with each other, and it's like, while elements of that sort of personality do exist everywhere I've been and everywhere I've lived, I feel like it's in a greater capacity here in America, you know, and if you can get people to hate watch, and like, you know, just check the likes to dislikes on this video, right? Generally speaking, within 5 minutes of an upload, I have 2 or 3 dislikes before you could have even possibly watched the video, you know? And it's just people who have got me set to notifications who are disliking every video as soon as I upload it. And it's like, okay, you fucking brain dead fuck. Like, that's still engagement. You're still helping me. You're not actually hurting me in any way, you know what I mean? But yeah, there is a certain segment of the public here that you gotta, like, they'd rather hate watch something than actually watch it, you know? Like, watch something they like. And I feel like maybe Lewis Hamilton, or like the domination of Lewis, that Lewis Hamilton has been having or whatever, is potentially the reason that the US might have got into it a little bit better as well, because there's that heel that you can sort of rally against, you know? Anyway, that was a long-winded way of saying there's a super successful driver that we can get tall poppy syndrome about. But anyway.
Vaguely interested friends, Formula One has you covered. The Drive to Survive series, produced by Netflix,
that's a big thing as well. So many people have suggested I watch that.
It's proven to be incredibly effective at creating new fans for the sport.
It's like Hard Knocks for NFL or something.
The sport very accessible and gives everyone entertaining insights into how F1 actually works. For example, the complex and often ruthless driver transfer market, known as the silly season, is explained using intimate interviews with at-risk driver Nico Hülkenberg and shadowing his daily life as he tries to secure a seat for the following season.
You can be lucky I had my first coffee, otherwise you'd be right out the window.
Another way of winning over new fans is to bring the action directly to their doorstep. Liberty Media are keen to boost American exposure.
More races in America?
By hosting a greater number of races in the US.
Is it one on Daytona Beach?
Since 2012, the only US Grand Prix has been held at the circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
The 2012 US Grand Prix was the first in 4 years.
But there's another one, isn't there? There's another one coming?
Was triggered by a decline in interest, coupled with the fact that the crowd at the 2005 Grand Prix at Indianapolis spent most of the race booing.
Because there was fucking 2 cars on the track.
At the Miami Hard Rock circuit has finally been added to the 2022 calendar.
Yeah, there we go, down in Florida.
No simple achievement. Numerous plans to find a second race in the US failed, and the Miami project was met with a furious backlash from locals. At the end of
I thought it was Daytona Beach, but it mustn't be. It's obviously being built.
The future of F1 in America. Races on site are one thing,
Excuse me,
but the
that's
really
the
big
creatine in the Red Bull.
are only reached via broadcasts. When Liberty Media took over F1, they decided to throw away a $40 million 5-year contract with NBC.
Okay.
Why? Because they were launching their own subscription-based streaming service.
Fuck it, we're gonna do it ourselves, he said.
F1 wanted to be in competition with the TV stations that were paying them millions. Unsurprisingly, NBC rejected this deal. In response, Liberty Media gave the rights to ESPN for free and launched F1 TV.
Ha!
F1 understands that viewers are more likely to consume free content and use ESPN to give fans...
Yeah, give it a leg up, give it a build up and go from there.
Once hooked and pumped full of information using the tools
they can get some subscription TV model.
Fans are given the opportunity to purchase a subscription to F1 TV to gain access to exclusive information not shown through the live broadcast.
Capitalism manifest, but it's genius.
Exclusive data and non-stop team driver radio communications.
The engine feels good, much slower than before. Amazing.
Adding a greater number of tracks and boosting engagement through education are effective strategies.
Yeah.
But one of the underlying reasons why F1 has struggled in America is the lack of a US driver.
There's another one,
Will
yeah.
an American F1 driver boost the popularity of the
Absolutely.
sport in the US? There is plenty of evidence to suggest a positive response to this question.
There's a reason I like Daniel Ricciardo, right?
Perfect examples of how national heroes can almost instantly boost a sport's appeal in their home nations.
Yep.
When Christian Pulisic joined Chelsea in 2019, the Premier League saw an instant boost in their US fan base. Pulisic's debut for Chelsea against Manchester United set an NBC record for the most US viewers of a football match.
Wow.
Even more astonishingly, over the 2019-2020 season, Pulisic sold more replica shirts in the US than Cristiano Ronaldo.
Wow. Okay.
Impressive is
That's probably like the NFL in Australia, actually, when Jared Hayne got a spot on the 49ers practice squad and then pre-season and stuff. I think he might have got maybe 1 or 2 reps in regular season. I can't remember. Anyway, if you're a Jared Hayne or 49ers fan, let me know in the comments section below. But yeah, like, he was the highest selling NFL jersey in Australia for a while, and he was just some practice squad running back. You know what I mean? Like, it was... But... low-key underrated Australian footballer is Jordan Mailata. I think it's Mailata. He's an offensive lineman for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he's left tackle. I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain he's left tackle. He's not getting as much media in Australia at the moment because he's of Samoan descent. He was born in fucking Bankstown, which is about a 45-minute drive from where I grew up. Maybe an hour, maybe a bit over that, depending. You don't care. Yeah, he was born and he grew up in Bankstown to Samoan parents, and he's very, very, like, he's a big islander-looking dude, you know what I mean? But maybe that contributes to why Australia are like, oh, well, we're you know, there's been a couple of articles and a couple of news things about him, but he's playing left fucking tackle. Like, he's a starting player. Like, he's played every game this year except for, I think, the most recent one because he was injured or something. But yeah, they also have an Australian punter, Sipos. But anyway, Jared Hayne is like he's the Cam Newton sort of thing in Australian sport. You know, people build him up because he was so successful a fucking decade ago. But he's past it, and nobody seems to realise he's past it. Anyway,
had on the NBA's popularity in China. After joining the Houston Rockets in 2000,
I think he's in prison now, actually, Jared Hayne.
NBA All-Star.
I think he raped someone.
Over 600 million Chinese basketball fans, and China is considered to be the NBA's largest international market. But does it also work in Formula?
That's why LeBron's fucking doing all this political correct nonsense on Twitter, right?
China is considered to be the NBA's largest international market. But does it also work in Formula 1? Take the case of Robert Kubica. His return to the sport in 2019 saw viewing figures in Poland increase by 256%.
Oh wow, good on him.
Or the case of Max Verstappen. The sport has seen a 30% uplift in Dutch fans across all demographics.
He is Dutch, nice.
An incredible 2 million Dutch people tuned in to watch Verstappen's victory in Mexico. That's 11% of the entire population.
Yeah, that's insane.
An American driver.
That's more than 1 in 10. You know what 11% is.
Potential fans who don't know enough about F1 to fall in love with the sport. But even without an American driver, Does the strategy of boosting US support by educating potential fans work?
Yes.
Since 2017, Liberty Media has overseen a gradual increase in the popularity of F1, and TV figures are also speeding ahead. In the 2021 season, viewing figures are reported to have topped 1 million. But the much celebrated 1 million viewers has room for improvement when compared to the Premier League. NBC has suggested that close to 10 million Americans watch Premier League football, and big matches with the likes of Manchester United and Chelsea can claim over 1 million viewers.
Nice.
However, only 10,000 people signed up for F1 TV in the first year.
That's not too bad, though.
Morgan Stanley predicts that close
a platform to build on. 10,000
Americans will sign up to F1 TV by 2027. And there are opportunities for much larger growth, with close rivals IndyCar boasting over 69 million fans across the country.
Yeah, and they race in like fucking one spot, basically.
F1 is attempting to break into a competitive market and win over viewers who have grown up with the.
But the market's already established. That's the thing. That's where they benefit, you know? Like, there's already a plethora of motorsport fans that are just waiting for a new thing to get into as well, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people falling away from NASCAR. There's a lot of people growing disheartened with motorsport in America, I feel, or the comment section of my channel would lead me to believe, right? And so I feel like if F1 does it right, there is already a market ready for them to just walk into. They don't have to build from that ground up, you know? Like, the competitive market is an advantage for them.
Media's current strategy has proven to be relatively successful, but the sport has a long way to go before it challenges the likes of IndyCar or the Premier League. Formula One's future in the US
apples and oranges with the Premier League, I think,
with the introduction of an American driver. But that's easier said than done, with the country desperate for greater investment into its karting infrastructure if it ever hopes to produce a world champion again. You want the American F1 experience, but you are not living in the US? Then you should check out our video sponsor, NordVPN.
VPN, yeah, alright.
NordVPN lets you easily change your virtual location.
It's only a minute or so to go in the video. Maybe I'll skip the ad.
And you never miss your favorite sport.
He's telling you to subscribe.
VPN.com.
Nord. Yeah, alright, cool. So he was just, that was the end of that video, which is cool. As always, if you want to watch the video we just watched without me pausing it and talking so much and all that sort of jazz, link is right at the bottom of the description. Go and give him a like anyway, even if you've already watched it or you don't want to watch it anyway. Just click onto his video, like it for me, just because he's it's obviously a good channel and I can watch stuff and react to it from there. Hopefully you guys see this the day I upload it. Most of my F1 videos at the moment are either getting blocked or like demonetized, and I'm gonna have to figure out a way to try and work around that. Some videos might have like just bits cut out of them that they've tried to copyright and stuff, you know, so we'll see how we go. We'll try and make it work, but do me a solid. If you have money, if you like, you know, my stuff, if you want a guaranteed reaction, it's only $5. Join my Patreon. I like money. Turning some of yours into mine on a monthly basis would be sick, because then I'm going to spend it on shit, you know how money works. Yeah, these people already do. I'll see you guys when I look at you. You'll see me when you look at me. Thanks so much for watching.